Now you notice down here on the text messages and messages icons, there's a little indicator showing that there's something new coming in. It's the same, little star indicator you see up there. So I can either get to, the text messages that have come in by tapping here, or of course I could just tap on text messages. So here you see one of the messages we have. Threaded SMS, of course. You have choice between using the bubble look like this or just the colored lines. You have the option of having your text messages show up in the unified messaging inbox, which I do, but by default that's turned off. You can see, however, I've got email messages from multiple accounts. Here's a new message right here. This was sent to a Gmail account. Now you notice that I tapped on it, it was just showed up as a single message. However, if we go into the Gmail section of the phone, because there's special Gmail support now, you'll actually see it shows up, says 3 items, 4 items. These are conversations. So here you can see all 3 messages in the conversation, and one of them could be, of course, unread if it were a new message. This way it helps you keep track better of what's been going on in the conversation through Gmail. It's not exactly the way Gmail would present it itself, but it's still kind of useful. Just to show you what the message editor looks like, we'll pull up this message here. You can see there's some formatted text. Everything works nicely. It's an attachment. So we'll open the attachment and view it or edit it with documents to go. We're just going to view it. And it's just a Samsung press release. See multi-touch used for selecting. And then once you get a rough location on the selection area, you can use these find controls to get exactly the text you want. Hit the menu button and I'll copy this, and then I can paste it into a message later. Say I reply, and then I can easily go into the menu and paste that. Again, it's 2 fingers to initiate, just like that. You'll also notice that for cursor control, you can just tap somewhere and it automatically brings up those same handles to make it a little bit easier to position the cursor. You can also use the trackpad, of course. Navigate up and down quite easily with that. I'll just type something in here. And like on other Blackberry devices, you can hit the space twice just to automatically convert it to a period. Very handy to use. Messaging, of course, works very well, like it always does in Blackberry devices. And I'll just send it off. There's strong support for IM in the Blackberry OS 6. I've got Gtalk and AIM set up, but you can also pull in Yahoo and MSN Live. Unlike the threaded SMS look, it's a little bit more complicated to keep track of who's saying what here. Your instant messaging also shows up in the unified inbox. You can see we've got text messages, emails, all that kind of stuff going through here. You just tap on it to get right back to the full thread. And let's show you how useful the universal search is. I need to show you how contacts work with Gmail, so I'm going to just type setup here. You'll automatically see a bunch of matches come up, 2 under email setup help, and the email setup application, and that's actually the one I want, the application. I'm going to go through and it's going to show some of our test accounts, and if I tap on edit for the Gmail account, you'll notice down here under synchronization options, you have the option to pull in contacts, so you no longer need to use the Google sync application for Blackberry. It's still available and you can still use Google Sync to bring in your calendar appointments, but contact support is now natively built into OS 6. So when we go to contacts, all these contacts here actually were pulled in directly when I set up the Gmail account. You'll notice though that photos did not come across, which is a shame. You can always pull up the phone application by pressing on the green Call Send button. And as long as you're in a view other than the dial pad, you'll have access to these buttons across the bottom of the screen. Here's the contact list, access to voicemail, you can bring up the keyboard for typing, that kind of stuff. There's also speed dials. And you'll see that you can assign a speed dial number to any button on the keyboard. So I've got D assigned to John Doe and J assigned to Jack Black. So just having the keyboard open, I can long press on J. It will automatically call Jack Black. Turn the speaker on and see Jack appears to be busy, so we'll hang up. Pull up the main menu here. I'm going to go into media to show you what a folder looks like. It's a little hard to see, but you can see that there's a tab right here where it says media, so this is supposed to be a separate folder. It's unlike the media section that you can get to just by swiping. The items inside it are the same though. Let's go into the music application. I'm going to show you how the Wi-Fi music sync works. I've got this connected over Wi-Fi with my laptop computer. You'll notice when we go in here, most of these items are kind of grayed out. So you see Blacklight Burns here is in white, but Block Party and Arctic Monkeys are grayed out. That's because those songs haven't been downloaded yet. All I have to do, and I'm actively connected on Wi-Fi, is tap on that, and it's going to download it directly from my laptop. So now the song's been downloaded, we can play it, which is really cool. Now say you're away from home and you're saying, later I really want to listen to the Editor's album. You could just go through here, pick the album, and then if you hit the menu key here, you'll see the option for download all, at which point, as soon as you got home and it found the network, it would download all of those tracks. I'm going to go to all songs here just so you can see what some of the things look like inside the media player, how it uses the album art. Really works quite well. Now, of course, your music can play in the background. So we'll just hit the call in key and go back to the home screen. There are no on-screen controls. Let's see if we lock the device with the lock button up here. Doesn't actually give us any information about what's going on, what's playing, unlike some other smartphone platforms. However, you always have access to now playing, just to quickly go back. Currently only music media files sync wirelessly. You can use USB syncing though for photos and videos. For example, you see Picture Library. This is actually linked up to a directory on my laptop. So I can go through and tap, and these photos all synced to the phone when I connected it with a USB cable. Of course, there are also the photos that I took with the camera itself. Multi-touch zooming is a little slow to start, and you can see it takes a while for it to focus in. Seems like it could use more CPU, but it does work. I'm going to jump out here and launch the camera itself. You can also use the shutter button to launch the camera. By default, it's set to continual focus mode, so anywhere you point it automatically focuses, but I prefer to use the shutter button. Uses less battery power and you get a little bit more control. So you press the shutter button halfway, it'll focus, and press it the rest of the way to take the photo. And you can jump back in and look at the photos again. This little button down here allows you to enable geotagging. It'll give you rough areas, say what town you're in, not full latitude and longitude coordinates or anything like that. If we jump out and go to videos, you can see here's a demo video that's pre-installed. But in general, the video quality from the camera is not that good. Let's see, we'll run this one here. It looks jerky. I'm guessing it's only 15 frames per second. It's not very smooth. So I haven't been hugely impressed by it. We'll shoot a new video here. Tap here to start recording. You can see it's going to a micro SD card. A 4 gig card is included. And just tap. I can play it back. One thing I find very annoying is when I'm in the video camera and I fully press the shutter button, what happens is it switches over to the camera, which is not what I wanted. I wanted to use the button to initiate the video recording, so it's kind of odd that you seem to need to use the on-screen button.